pretty wild to think about the legacy that you have created and continue to create. And I'm curious what still drives that. Like, your life's incredible. You've already, I was explaining to my kids who I was coming to meet. I was like, he did this. Like, I'm doing this work because you came before me.
That's
and
beautiful.
You continue.
My heart. Thank you.
Yeah, you continue to pour your life force, pun intended, out to give people the ownership in all these different areas of their life. What's driving that still?
It's always been impact for me. I love people. Somebody asked my mom, was he always like this? She's passed away, but she used to tell the story, so I'd hear her version of the story. And, we grew up in kind of the hood of LA, a really rough territory, and on a commercial street. In this crappy little house, was a lot of violence around there. But right next door was this old liquor store. And we were poor, and she was pregnant with my brother. I was almost 4.5 years old, 5 years old. And, I would go to that place to get stuff because we had nobody else. My father was an underground parking attendant, so he wasn't there. So it was she and I. And so I guess she sent me next door to get bread and milk, which we desperately needed. We had very little money. I guess I was gone for a very long time, where she was worried I'd come back with no bread and milk. And she said, "Where's the bread and milk?" And I said, "Well, there's a poor boy there." So I gave him our money. And she says, "We're poor." So I've always had that. And I think there's an old movie called Mr. Holland's Opus. I use it sometimes to Date with Destiny. And there's a line in the movie where this man, his whole life was about, writing this great opus and how he'd make him rich and famous and all these things. And he becomes a school teacher, not because he likes kids, but because he gets off at 3 p.m. and has the summers off, thinks he's going to write this opus. And I could cry thinking about it right now, because it's just what life's about. Life's about love, and life's about people. But there's this moment when he loses his job because they cut the music program, and he decides he's going to retire. And he's leaving with his wife and his kid, who's deaf. He's ironically positioned. You know the movie.
I am very familiar.
I get teary-eyed thinking about it right now. Every time I watch it, you see this man come, and he's at the latter years of his life. And all of a sudden, as he's leaving, there's this sound in the gym, and he goes, "What is that sound?" He goes, "No." And it's after hours. He goes to open up the gym, and there's all these students from all the years of his 25 years of teaching or 30 years of teaching, whatever it was. And they're all cheering, and he comes down, and he's just stunned by the response. And his wife gets up and says, a lot of people heard about the retirement of my husband, and I can't believe the outreach. And so we wanted to let him know how much he's loved. And then all of a sudden the doors open, and this little redhead girl who he had blasted in the beginning because she had no talent in the clarinet. Yeah. But he then fell in love with trying to support her, and it's when he became a better man. She's now an adult, and she's the governor of the state, and she goes bursting in and goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, I thought we were a little bit running late." And she comes up, and she looks at him and gets on stage, and she does this little speech, but the essence of it is, Mr. Holland's touched all of us so much. She says, Mr. Holland had this opus he was going to write. The word was it was going to make him rich and famous, but he's neither, at least not outside this small town. But she said, but if he just got those riches and fame, he would have missed out on what he has here. And she says, "Look around you, Mr. Holland. These are the notes of your music. This is the symphony of your life." And sorry, again, emotionally, I was so silly. I'm an emotional guy. That's why I do what I do, because I get to see people's lives change. I get to see moms reclaim themselves. I see children, stand up for themselves. I see men who become men again and really step up and take responsibilities that make them feel alive. I see people build businesses, and I see people happy again. I see couples coming together. I see joy and happiness, not because life is always like that, but because they can find meaning even when it's painful. And to me, to live a life with that kind of meaning is a gift from God.